Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be starting a really nice Murphy bed project. I've drawn up some plans and I'm going to start building this today. So stick around and see how it goes. Now I'm going to jump right into building this, but before I do that, here's a quick product list if you want to pause the video and write those down if you're interested. I'm going to jump right into it. So first I'm going to start by building the large door or platform that is going to fold up and down. This is what the mattress is going to sit on. It needs to be really rugged. So I'm going to build the frame out of 2x4s, and then I'm going to put 1/2-inch plywood over the top and bottom of this platform. That's going to make it really strong. So I'll get started by cutting all the 2x4s to length, and I'll build the frame. Once I'm done with that, I then can cut the plywood to fit, and then I'll just assemble everything together. And I'm going to be using screws to hold this all together. It holds a little bit stronger than nails. They don't pull out as easily and keeps everything really tight. At the top of this frame, I'm going to have 2 feet that fold down out of the platform, and this is what's going to support the one end of the bed. So I need to add in a second 2x4 that will give me a really good spot to bolt those legs into place and make sure that they're really rugged. The rest, I'm going to run a few 2x4s in between this to really spread out the weight and support the plywood that's going to be going on the top and bottom of this door. So this door is just too big for a full sheet of plywood, so I need to use 2 on both the front and the back, and I'm going to be offsetting the seams. On the inside where the mattress is going to be covering up when it folds down, I'm having the plywood going horizontally, and then on the front I'm going to have those sheets going vertically, splitting right in the middle of that supporting beam in the middle of the platform. Now before I close this up with plywood on both sides, I need to cut the legs out and get those bolted in place. These are going to be pivoting down. When you fold down the door, they can swing down and support the weight of the mattress. So I need to cut off one corner. I'll round that over so that this can easily pivot without getting stuck on that corner. Now I'm also going to be putting a bolt going through both of these legs, through those 2 2x4s I installed at the top of that platform. And that's going to be what allows this 2x4 to pivot and support the weight of the bed and everything. Now a trick I'm going to use to make sure that the legs line up perfectly with the holes on the 2x4s, I'm actually using the leg I just cut as a guide. I'll clamp it to the other 2x4s and drill right out from there. That way I know it's going to line up perfectly. When you fold down the leg, it's not going to be sticking out on one side or the other. It's going to fit in there perfectly. Now as I'm screwing this down, I'm putting a screw about every foot or a little bit less. That way it gives it plenty of strength, holding everything together. You wouldn't really want to go much more than that because the screws actually add a lot of support and spreading out the weight on that platform. Now I'm going to cut the other pieces to go on the front of this door. When the bed is folded up out of the way, I want this to look like there's 2 big cabinet doors there, like it's almost like a closet instead of an actual Murphy bed. I'm going to quickly tighten up those bolts I put into the legs. I'm going to make sure I don't over tighten this. If you tighten it too far down, you're not going to be able to pull the legs out. It's going to be way too tight. So I'm just getting them snug, and I've got a locking nut on the back of those bolts so that they aren't going to come off on their own. That's really important because it's going to be closed in. If you use regular nuts, it might actually eventually come loose, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to fix later. Hey guys, if you're interested in the content that I post, I upload a new video each week, and if you don't want to miss out on that, hit that subscribe button down below, and that will subscribe you to my channel. It's totally free, and that way you'll get a notification when I upload new videos and you won't miss out. Now I built the mattress platform. Now I need to start building the cabinet that's going to be going around this. And to do this, I'm actually going to have to build it in two separate pieces, the cabinet itself and then the shelf that's going on the side of this Murphy bed needs to be separate so that I could actually fit it through the doorway of the house I'm installing it in. So I'm going to lay down the platform first. Before I start building this cabinet around it, I want to make sure that I get it the exact size and that everything stays square with the platform, because I did make sure that that platform was square, everything was lined up. So now I can use that as a guide to build my cabinet. Now to build this, I'm actually going to be using screws again to hold everything together, and along the top and bottom of the cabinet I'm going to be covering this up later with molding, so as long as it's 6 inches above and below the bottom of the cabinet I can easily cover up later. So I'm just putting screws through the side, making it simple. Everything else I'm actually using a Craig jig that I can cut pocket hole screws and screw in from the back so that they're never seen. So I'm going to be doing that for the majority of these joints, except for the ones that are at the bottom and at the very top of the cabinet. Now if you've never used one of these before, they're super easy to use and it makes furniture making really nice, and especially cabinetry. You can hide all of those screws, everything that's holding it together you can easily hide in the back of the cabinet. So I would suggest if you make furniture or do DIY projects, this is something that is really helpful. Now you can see here it makes a pocket or a diagonal groove into the wood that you can screw from your piece of plywood into the other sheet that's right there. No screws poke out, there's no screw head showing on the finished piece. If you plan it all right, you can have all those pocket holes on the back side of the cabinet where you'll never see them. Now at the bottom of this cabinet, I'm going to be reinforcing this with a 2x4 frame, and this is where it's going to be attached to the door. The door is very heavy. I'm going to be putting 3 heavy-duty hinges on this to support the door and support all of that weight. So I need to have this held together really tight, and that's what the 2x4 frame is for. So I'll put 2 screws about every 6 inches on there and make sure it's really rugged. Now the large cabinet frame is built, I'm going to move on to building the shelves that are going along the side of this Murphy bed. Hey guys, don't forget to hit the like button down below. It helps me out so much and I love to see it. So don't forget, hit that like button. Now for the shelves on this, I couldn't make it any wider than 1 foot because we are limited on space, and that's a limiting factor here. But I really wanted to make this look a little bit more proportional to the huge cabinet that's right beside it with the really large doors on the front. It will look odd if these are just some tiny shelves. So I'm going to make them a little bit thicker, make them look more rugged and hefty beside the large doors next to it. So I'm going to make them about 3 to 3.5 inches thick, which is a little bit thicker than I normally would make these shelves, but it's going to look really nice in proportion to the large doors right beside it that the Murphy bed is folding down out of. So I'm going to nail in a couple rails down on either side of this plywood, and that's actually going to be supporting the shelves. I'm going to nail 1 piece of plywood on the top and 1 on the bottom, closing it in, and then I'll cut 1 faceplate to go on the front of each of these shelves. That will clean it up and close it all in and make it look really nice. Now I've got everything built. It's still just the very rough frame, the outline. I haven't put any of the molding on, the trim, closing it all in. But I need to do a test fit, so I'm going to carry it all outside because it's actually too big to fit in my shop all together. So I'm going to take it outside real quick and test it out. Make sure everything fits the way it needs to. Make sure there's no adjustments that are needed. Now, I already mentioned I'm using hinges to mount the large door to the platform that I built here. And I'm going to be using 2.5-inch screws going straight down into the 2x4 frame that I built. And I'll be using 2.5 inches going straight into the 2x4 frame that's on the platform as well. So this will be really rugged, plenty to hold the weight up of this platform and anyone that's going to be getting on it. Now this platform especially is crazy heavy. It's a lot of weight here, so it's a good thing that this is in separate pieces. The cabinet is so large that having the shelves separate makes it a little bit lighter and easier to move around, so that is actually nice to do it separately. Now I'm going to lift this up and attach it to the hinges, and to do this you can really pinch your fingers bad. I'm using a flat bar to hold this up in place while I screw it into the hinges, and that worked out really well. Didn't have to worry about my fingers. Now I can test it out and fold it up, and it works great. Even though it's on an uneven surface right now, it will be much better once I install it into place. So all I need to do now for this video is I'm gonna sand down, and this took forever to sand all the surfaces down. Now once I'm done sanding this all down, it's already prepped for paint, and I'm going to come back in and put 3 coats of paint over this whole cabinet. I need to install all the trim and the moldings, closing this up, making it look beautiful, because I know it does not look beautiful right now. It's just the rough frame of this Murphy bed. So if you're interested in seeing how this turns out, check out the link at the end of this video. I'll leave that for you guys to click on. Thanks guys so much for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.